Dude, I shouldn't say that that's the first time I've laughed in like 2 days. Because there was also, I was laughing so hard at that post that I retweeted. Well, no, I didn't retweet it. I just cropped the meme and then tweeted it myself. But that was like, oh, my 3-year-old son has always been obsessed with driving for his entire life. So on our dead-end road, I let him drive on my lap. Is there any place in the lower mainland where a 3-year-old can drive vehicles? What the hell are you talking about, lady? What do you think people are going to reply to the post and be like, oh yeah, we have like a toddler racetrack in New West. We got like a little, just a little demolition derby we set up for the little kids. It was so good. Because all this shit I get from when I put the baby to bed and then I'm waiting for her to fall asleep, I'll go on like r/ShitMomGroupsSay, because it's just a reminder that, you know, you might think that you've screwed up as a parent sometimes, because you're like, oh, maybe I should have given her cookies when she asked for cookies, and then you go on to this subreddit and you're like, oh my god, there's people out there doing this. I was laughing like to the extent that I thought I was gonna wake our daughter up like 5 times. There was one that it's graphic, so don't look it up, okay? Unless you want to see it. But the title of the post was like, "She really do be seasoning it though," and it was like a photo of something called a lotus birth, which is you give natural birth, and then, you know, the baby is connected to the placenta. Normally, a doctor or a midwife or a doula or whatever would handle that. But instead, in the lotus birth, you kind of wait for it to just decay naturally. Because you need a hobby, I guess. It's a spiritual thing. Okay, anyway. But then the title of "She really do be seasoning it," and then the first post was like the baby and the placenta, and I once you've had a kid, you're like, you can still see it as like miraculous. You're like, sure, it's a little gross, but at the same time, oh, cute, that's like a newborn baby. But then in the second one, she was sprinkling like kosher salt and like rosemary on the placenta. And she wrote like she wrote like it's a traditional practice to coat the placenta in like herbs and minerals and stuff like that, so that the nutritional content can pass on to the baby or something like that. It just looked like an episode of like, you know, Chef's Table or something like that. You know, at the end of the 50-minute documentary where they start playing the classical music really fast and it goes like, and the dishes start coming out in the masterful plating, and then you see the name of the dish at the bottom, and this one was like, you know, lotus placenta made by mom. I do have to say, it was well seasoned. Like, it was she had cooking experience. That thing was like coated in salt and pepper. This is just, I feel bad about, but the r/ShitMomGroupsSay like opened my eyes. There's posts, and you never know how many of these are real, obviously. So there's homeschooling, which I, you know, did not do, and I understand the negatives of it, potentially. But I've met some homeschooled kids who are like, I feel like they got the benefits of homeschooling, which is like an advanced education in terms of the speed at which they got it, and also like socially turned out fine. But apparently there's something called unschooling that I was also not aware of. And unschooling, and I'm ignorant to an extent when I say this, but is essentially homeschooling, but you kind of just let your kids do whatever they want. It's like a Montessori school, but instead of a school, it's just kind of like they're just sort of like living life. And then there was a post that was like, is anyone else unschooling their kids? And like, they're not teaching them math or reading or writing or science. And then the post was just like, so I let my kids' passions determine where they want to learn. So I'll ask them if they want to read, and they say no. They just want to watch TV all day. Is this okay? My 13-year-old doesn't even know the alphabet. And I was like, that's not okay. I don't think you need to post on Facebook to figure out if that's okay. I know it's fake the way I read it, but the way it was, I'm paraphrasing with a lot of judgment attached. But I just love the idea that, like, well, the post started with like this insane preamble that was like, does anyone else feel like that when you take away reading, writing, and math, there's not that much value in modern schooling? They called it institutionalized learning, my mistake. If you take away the socialization aspect, the reading, writing, and arithmetic fundamentals that serve as the foundation for a successful and fulfilling adult life, does anyone think there's no value whatsoever in take away the physical education, knowledge of history and, you know, science and stuff like that? There's not, all the schooling stuff is kind of like a little overrated. Take away audio and video, there's not a whole lot of reason to watch a Twitch stream. You could take away video from this Twitch stream, it would still be okay. I would describe this as punching down, but I think the people that is punching down to would take it more as an insult if I said that I was punching down than for what I'm actually gonna say. So I don't know how to deal with that situation. However, there seem to also be like a lot of posts where, and they're all on Facebook, where a pregnant woman will be like, I'm 37 weeks pregnant. My doctor advised me to give birth in a hospital because I have like 20 medical complications, but I've already had one baby and it went fine. Is there any way I could get like a new doctor who will just do whatever I want them to do? And then the majority of the Facebook comments are always supportive, and it's scary. I saw one that was like describing like, you're the doctor's client. If you're not happy with what the doctor's recommending, then you should work to find someone whose goals align with yours. And I'm like, hey, you know what? In a lot of situations, I could see that, you know, but maybe not like when you're 3 weeks away from an incredibly like medically intense and dangerous procedure. I think you maybe get out of the customer mindset a little bit, but, or posts that are like, hey, my daughter has a fever of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and she's making 6 diarrhea diapers a day, but apart from that, she doesn't have any symptoms. Does anyone know what could be the problem? You're like, apart from a severe medical grade fever and another symptom, she doesn't have any symptoms. I didn't know you could do that, man. Do her eyeballs have a yellow tinge? I'm sorry. I mean, again, this is like, it's a sensitive topic. What can I say? I'm a changed man. I told you, it's the ship of Theseus, man. I'm different now. I'm taking prisoners. Wait, no, what's worse? People always say taking no prisoners, but I don't know. I think taking prisoners is like a little scarier. Maybe because everybody, when they're going sicko mode, they say they're taking no prisoners. If someone's going sicko mode and they're taking prisoners, I'd be like, damn, dude, fucking just kill me instead, please. Have you seen the one about goat advice? I have not seen the one about goat advice. That one is good? Alright, whatever. I'm sick. You can't judge me. The goat advice one's really good. Dude, honestly, I don't want to spoil it because I'm gonna read through those posts again tonight. That's like my reading material after I pretend to be asleep so the baby goes to sleep herself. Like, that's more of a spoiler than any television show you could possibly offer to me right now. React courted. Dude, because it really is punching down. Like, it's, at least most of React Court is just relatively normal seeming people that are like, hey, I'm like a normal person, except I have this one insane social thing that I want to be validated on. This is just like, it just sucks because like the moms, whatever, right? Like they had their chance. If you're my age and you're like, I want to treat hypothermia with like essential oils, whatever, you know, like as long as you're not my doctor. I mean, you had your chance, okay? It's just this is harder because they have kids, so you really just feel bad for the kids. But then you start the Ouroboros, right? And you're like, well, probably the moms of the moms has some problems too. And then you're like, it just, I mean, at some point, I guess you gotta take some responsibility. But you're like, you just like, it's kind of a chain of this sort of stuff. Leave urn and reroll. I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't. Because if I'll die. That's how fragile I am right now. If I reroll on the one room and this run becomes worse than it is right now, I will die on stream of a broken heart. That's okay, you noob. Not okay to me if I die. Yeah, plus dying on stream is very against TOS. Probably get, you know what? I bet I get a 24 hour for that. It's just kind of crazy to me. I mean, that's why, like, the medicine stuff, you really feel bad for the kids. Obviously, it's just a tragic story. But that's why, in a weird way, the driving one was almost like just quality, wholesome entertainment. I'm not saying the kid was not at risk, because obviously you should not have your 3-year-old driving a car. Take one of these real quick, especially like an inch away from the airbag, you know. I mean, at least it's not as tragic as like my kid is sick, but I don't believe in Tylenol. There was another, I'm sorry I keep going into this, but there's another one that was like, this medication is so much better than Tylenol. Plus, it's not made by Big Pharma, so they're not preying on your demise. And it's even cheaper than Tylenol. Go check it out. And it was a photo of acetaminophen. It was just like a no-name brand acetaminophen. I was like, come on, man. We gotta do better than this. They're kind of not wrong. It's the same thing. It's like they're chirally identical.